Have you ever felt like life has given you more than your share of struggles? You're not alone. For decades, you've carried losses, setbacks, and quiet battles. But here's the truth. Hardship isn't a sign of failure. It's proof of your strength. Let's talk about how to wear that strength with pride. 1. Hardship is part of life, not a mistake. Let's speak plainly. Life hasn't always been easy, has it? If you're in your 60s or 70s now, you've likely carried more than your fair share. Losses you didn't see coming, moments that broke your heart, times you sat alone wondering how you'd make it through. And if you're feeling that way now, you're not alone. But here's the truth I want you to remember. Hardship is not a sign that you've done something wrong. It's not a punishment. It's part of what it means to be human. You've likely faced the loss of loved ones, health challenges, or financial burdens after retirement. Maybe you're learning to live with a quieter house, fewer phone calls, or the feeling that the world is moving too fast without you. But none of that means you've failed. In fact, it means you're still in the game. The hardest moments of life don't erase your worth, they reveal your strength. Just like storms test the roots of a tree, hardship shows us what we're made of. Not to break us, but to shape us. So let me ask you, what have you made it through that once felt impossible? That's not weakness, that's quiet victory. And if you've ever wondered what it really means to win in life, the next part will help you see that simply enduring, getting up and carrying on, is a success no one can take from you. 2. Resilience is a quiet victory. Let me tell you something many people don't say out loud. You don't need to be loud to be strong. You don't need to stand on a stage or hold a trophy to prove your worth. Sometimes, the greatest victories happen in silence, when you decide to get up again after life has knocked you down. Resilience doesn't always look like bold action. Sometimes it's a quiet morning after a sleepless night. It's walking into a room where you once felt broken and choosing to smile anyway. It's holding yourself together after a loss that no one else truly understands. I once met a gentleman named Walter at a local VA center. He was in his late 70s, living alone after the passing of his wife. Every week, without fail, he volunteered, organizing canned goods, greeting people, just being there. When I asked him why, he said, "Because I promised myself I wouldn't let the loneliness win." That's resilience. That's the kind of strength the world doesn't always applaud, but desperately needs. So ask yourself, what pain have you outlasted? What quiet battles have you won, even if no one noticed? You're not behind. You're not broken. If you're still showing up, still loving, still trying, you're already winning. And if that resonates with you, stay close. Because in the next part, we'll talk about how the struggles you've survived are shaping something even more powerful within you, the quiet strength to keep becoming. 3. Growth happens through struggle. We don't often talk about it, but most of the growth we go through doesn't happen during the easy seasons of life. It happens when things fall apart, when the plan we had doesn't work out, when we're left with more questions than answers. Struggle isn't something to be ashamed of. It's where strength is born. It's the place where you dig deeper, where you start to find out who you really are. Think about the times in your life that truly changed you. Maybe it was after a health scare or the loss of someone you loved. Maybe it was starting over financially, emotionally, or spiritually after retirement or an unexpected event. Those were the moments that hurt, but they also made you wiser, more compassionate, more grounded. I remember hearing about a woman named Carol, a widow in her 70s who joined a community college art class just to help herself through grief. She told her instructor, "I'm not here to paint something beautiful. I'm here to find the pieces of myself I lost." And through the struggle, she did. So ask yourself, what pain in your life has quietly shaped you into someone stronger? You didn't just survive it, you grew through it. And if you've ever wondered why life keeps testing you, The next part will help you discover how your trials are actually preparing you for deeper peace, sharper wisdom, and a kind of inner strength that doesn't fade. 4. The present moment is sacred. We spend so much of our lives thinking about what we should have done, or worrying about what might happen next. But somewhere in between, the moment we're living right now slips through our fingers. And yet, this moment, this quiet, ordinary moment, is the only place where life is actually happening. The present isn't just what's left. It's where your breath is. It's where your strength still lives. It's where the next right decision can be made. And when we learn to slow down and really be here, life starts to feel less like something slipping away, and more like something we're finally holding. I once met a man named Harold who'd lost his wife after 50 years of marriage. He told me, "For a long time, I kept waiting for life to feel normal again. But one morning, I realized the only place life could happen was today. So I stopped waiting. I got up and made oatmeal. That was my first win." Sometimes, presence looks like something that's simple. Oatmeal, sunlight, a phone call, a deep breath. But that simplicity is sacred. Ask yourself, what's something small and beautiful you can notice today, right now? Because the more you live here, in this moment, the more alive you truly become. And if you've ever felt weighed down by things you can't control, the next part will show you how letting go of the outside world's noise can lead you back to inner peace. Stay with me. 5. Emotional mastery means feeling without drowning. Feelings don't fade with age, they deepen. The older we get, the more we've seen, the more we've lost, and the more we carry. And sometimes those emotions come in waves: grief, regret, loneliness, even bursts of anger we thought we left behind. But here's what life teaches us, gently and firmly. Strength doesn't come from ignoring those feelings. It comes from facing them, without letting them pull us under. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you never cry, or that you're always calm. It means you learn how to sit with your feelings, acknowledge them, and still choose a response that honors who you truly are. I remember a man named Raymond. He was 74, a former firefighter, proud and quiet. After his brother passed away, he told me, "There were days I just sat in the kitchen staring at nothing. But I let the grief sit beside me, not drive the car. That was the difference." And that's what mastery looks like. Letting emotion visit, but not letting it take the wheel. Ask yourself, when emotion rises, do you react or do you reflect? You don't have to silence your feelings. You just have to remember they don't own you. If that speaks to your heart, stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about the quiet power of gratitude and how choosing to focus on what remains can gently lift the weight of what's been lost. 6. Real strength is quiet, invisible, and unshakable. You may not see it in the mirror, you won't hear applause for it, but real strength, the kind that lasts, it's often the quietest thing in the room. It's not in loud words or proud displays. It's in the woman who keeps caring for her husband with dementia, even when he forgets her name. It's in the man who keeps showing up to physical therapy, inching forward day by day when no one's cheering him on. It's in the silence, in the steady hands, in the breath you take before choosing kindness instead of anger. This kind of strength doesn't make headlines, but it changes lives. I once met a woman named Nancy at a grief support group. She was in her late 60s, newly widowed, no family nearby, but every week she brought homemade muffins. She never talked much, just listened, smiled, and showed up. When someone asked why, she said softly, "Because I remember what it's like to feel alone." That's strength, gentle, steady, unshakable. Ask yourself, where in your life have you kept going, even when no one noticed? You don't need to shout to be powerful. Sometimes, strength is simply staying soft in a hard world. And if you've ever wondered how to keep that strength going even on your hardest days, The next part will show you how gratitude, real, simple gratitude, can become your daily source of power. 7. You are already winning. If you've endured, if you're watching this right now, chances are you've been through something, maybe more than you let on, maybe more than others will ever understand. But here's something you might not hear enough. If you've made it through, you've already won. We tend to think of success as something shiny, something with a finish line, a celebration, a headline. But real success, the kind that matters most, often looks very different. It looks like getting out of bed the day after the funeral, like starting over at 65 because life didn't go the way you planned, like reaching out again after being let down too many times. I remember a man named Jim, who lost his wife of 48 years and said, "The hardest part isn't being alone, it's choosing to live anyway." But he did. He joined a book club, started taking long walks, and little by little found himself again. That's victory. Quiet, brave, and hard-won. So take a moment to ask yourself, what have you made it through that once felt unbearable? You're still here, still breathing, still growing. That alone makes you stronger than you know. And if that realization stirred something in you, don't go just yet. The next part will help you recognize how even the smallest shift in how you see yourself can lead to the kind of peace and purpose that lasts. I'm curious. What's your take on this? Share your own experiences below. I'd love to connect with you all. At this point in life, many of us carry invisible victories, surviving loss, starting over after retirement, living through health scares or quiet seasons of loneliness. And yet, we often forget what these experiences truly mean. The lesson is this: if you've endured, you've already succeeded in ways the world may never see. Your strength isn't in how loud you are or how much you've achieved on paper. It's in how many times you kept going when no one else was watching. Life's challenges aren't detours, they're the path. They teach us patience, reshape our values, and deepen our understanding of what really matters. The present moment, though often overlooked, is where your power lives. It's where you decide how to respond, how to speak to yourself, and how to carry the day. So instead of measuring yourself by yesterday's expectations, start honoring what you've already survived and who you've become because of it. This isn't about chasing more. It's about appreciating the wisdom, resilience, and quiet dignity that life has already carved into you. Pause. Reflect. Breathe. You've made it here for a reason, and your story still matters more than you think. Let that truth guide your next.